Hi, and welcome to organ practice at St. Paul's Episcopal in Kansas City. So this week I'm working on a familiar fugue by Buxtehude, his fugue in C major. And I just want to play some of the beginning of it and then talk about this form and how it came to be and what's distinctive about the way that Buxtehude handles it. So he starts off with this theme. So super fun music, and you might think to yourself, well, that sort of sounds like an Irish jig, and if you thought that, you would be very correct. And you think of an Irish jig like the Irish washerwoman or something. How does that one go? Something like that. Well, you're exactly right. And what's interesting about that is that Irish jigs were popular forms of dances. As those popular forms spread across Europe, they became incorporated into keyboard music. A lot of the keyboard music written at the time was based on different dance tunes. And as you might imagine, if it comes from Ireland, the first place it entered into Europe was in France. And so people in France started ending their keyboard suites with jigs. And I have one here from Rameau's first book, where he ends his thing with a little jig, and I'm just going to play a little bit of it, but you get the sense of how a jig was sort of Frenchified. It's not quite as wild and burly as an Irish jig as you might imagine it at the time, but the French version gets a lot more ornaments in it. So we get, let's see how it da da da. Yeah, you get the idea. It's a lilting little jig with lots of little keyboard, what we call ornaments, little adornments to each note. Now, think about what happens when this comes to Germany. And in this particular case, we're talking about not the end of a keyboard suite, but an actual fugue, which means that we're going to take a musical idea and put it in different voices. So it's the sort of particular genius of the way that the Germans were handling this, is that they're going to say, okay, I'm going to play an Irish jig, but I'm going to have it going on in different voices at the same time with other stuff going on. So it's not just a jig tune that's being ornamented. In fact, in this case, I'm not ornamenting very much at all because it's too fast to ornament. I'm getting some spots here and there. But in this case, Buxtehude gives us our theme, our straight sort of Irish jig sounding thing. Here's what makes it particularly German in Buxtehude is now the same idea gets played in the left hand, and the right hand does something else to harmonize it. Now it's going to get played in the left hand, and the right hand's going to take over with two parts doing something different. Now a fourth fourth voice is going to come in. In most cases in organ music, this would be played in the pedals, but in this case, it's just a keyboard piece, and I'm glad that it is. Some people, I think, play it in the pedals, but it would take too much practice to get it going as fast as I want it to go. So then a fourth voice comes in, and then the sort of thumb and first finger of your left hand play one part, and then your right hand plays two other parts. And then the piece develops on from there. So it's kind of cool how this just simple Irish dance comes over to France, becomes part of keyboard suites in France. That migrates over to Germany. It becomes part of keyboard suites in Germany. People are ending their pieces with these little fugues, and then the Germans take that one step further and say, well, we could actually do an Irish jig, but have it coming in different voices and having other voices go along with it and have counterpoints. So it's kind of cool, and that's a little bit about the Jig Fugue by Buxtehude in C major. Thanks for listening.